I didn't think this was possible, but things have gone from bad to worse for the Department of Justice in front of Judge Xinis in the Abrego Garcia case. She entered an order after she didn't believe a word that the Department of Justice lawyers said about what they plan on doing with Abrego Garcia once he's released from Tennessee protective custody by a federal magistrate judge then. Judge Xinis in Maryland, who has full control and jurisdiction over Abrego Garcia, so says the United States Supreme Court. She's trying to decide whether she should order that he be brought out of Tennessee into Maryland so she can continue to supervise him and the due process around his being in the United States. While the Department of Justice has announced that as soon as he's sprung on the 17th of July from the Tennessee Federal Detention Center, they're going to start ICE removal processes to send him to places like Mexico, South Sudan, and Libya. Well, maybe over Judge Xinis' dead body. I've got new reporting based on a hearing that took place yesterday that's been continued to today, in which the Department of Justice has violated Judge Xinis' order to produce a witness with actual knowledge, either from personal experience or by reviewing records, actual knowledge of what happens to Abrego Garcia next in the immigration process. She's a federal judge. She's entitled to know. But again, the Trump administration is stonewalling a federal judge, telling her to go pound sand and putting up a witness who's a sock puppet and is not answering questions. You know where this is going to end up, this hot take. It's going to end up with me talking about contempt in front of Judge Xinis. I'm Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit that free subscribe button. No paywall. It's all just you and me and the subscribe button. Abrego Garcia, the concept, the man, the myth, the legend, the human being who suffered, it was tortured, according to his complaint, in El Salvador when he was sent there illegally. It's not my words. Those are the words of the United States Supreme Court. Sent there illegally over an order of an immigration judge who said he could not be sent to El Salvador. We then fast forward to Judge Xinis. Judge Xinis exerts jurisdiction over him and orders his return from El Salvador. Supreme Court backs it 9-0, and the Trump administration doesn't do it until after April, and then May, after they've indicted him on a manufactured indictment for quote-unquote human smuggling about a traffic stop 2 years ago in Tennessee when he had 8 people in the car. All right, now, what's happening now? Judge Xinis held a hearing a few days ago in which she grilled the lawyers for the Department of Justice, and they've been changing hands. Now, by the way, they trotted out, I hate to call it this, but they trotted out a token. They trotted out Ernesto Molina. Sure, they found the Hispanic Department of Justice person who has a bar license in Washington to start talking about Abrego Garcia. Pathetic. So she ordered, after grilling the lawyers that weren't giving her proper answers about what the next steps with Abrego Garcia, she said, are you sending him to a third country? We don't know yet. Do you understand that before you send him there, you're going to have to make assurances that he's not going to be tortured or in any way have any kind of violence befall him? We understand that, but he's not in ICE custody yet, so we haven't done any of those things yet. Well, so after getting the runaround, she actually said at one point during that first hearing a few days ago, I feel like I'm stapling Jell-O to the ceiling. She ordered the Department of Justice to put a live witness in the box under oath and identify who that was this morning, or yesterday morning, in order for her to get to the bottom and get a straight answer about what happens to Abrego Garcia when he's released from a Tennessee federal detention center where a magistrate judge has put him there in federal marshal custody to protect him from the Trump administration and their immigration police, if you will. She wanted a straight answer. So they trot out Thomas Giles. Now, the title sounds right. He's the assistant director of ICE and enforcement and removal. All right, I guess it's the right person. But very quickly, it turned out he's a sock puppet. He's a paper tiger. He's an empty suit. He's all hat, no cattle, if you know what I mean. I mean, he can't answer fundamental questions that the judge ordered that the person in the witness box be able to answer, like what's going to happen to Abrego Garcia next. He said, well, we don't know because he's not in ICE custody. This became like Abbott and Costello. This became the famous baseball. Who's on first? Well, I know he's not in ICE custody, but when he gets to ICE custody, have you guys considered what you're going to do next to the timeline about it and what kind of notice is going to be given to the court and to the lawyers about it? No, we haven't, Judge. We can only focus on people that are in ICE custody. This is the guy's response, all right? Then in cross-examination from Abrego Garcia's lawyers, they said to him, how were you prepared to testify today? Judge ordered a person with knowledge, either personal knowledge of the Abrego Garcia case or somebody who gets up to speed. We sometimes call it in the legal world a corporate representative with knowledge, a 30B6 knowledge witness. How did you prepare? I was given, I'm not making this up, I was given a 1.5 page executive summary, and I spent 3 to 4 hours with the Department of Justice lawyers. I said, that's it? That's it. Do you have any experience in this kind of removal process? No. Did you think to speak? Did it ever cross your mind? This is cross-examination. Did it ever cross your mind to speak to anyone actually with personal knowledge about the case from the Department of Homeland Security or from ICE? No, it never crossed my mind. So let's get this straight. They put him in a box. This is the definition. He became a mushroom. It's a legal term. He became a mushroom. They put him in the dark and they fed him crap. They fed him manure. That's how you make a mushroom. They put Giles in a box, in a room, in a conference room, in 3 to 4 hours, and they prepped him within an inch of his life by lawyers only, not giving him any of the factual information that he needed in order to trot him out like Weekend at Bernie's and run him around the room with a pair of sunglasses on to try to testify and get past Judge Xinis. Did they think this was going to work? She's this close. And for those that are listening to me and not watching me, my fingers are very close together. She's this close to finding the Trump administration in contempt, and she's not the first judge to do it. And this is who they trot out. And to add insult to injury, I doubt it got past Judge Xinis that the person who's been signing the pleadings lately, or at least in the last filing, is Drew Ensign. Why does that name sound familiar? Because Drew Ensign is the person that the whistleblower who just sent a 27-page letter to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Erez Ruveni, who used to work with Drew Ensign, who was promoted by Drew Ensign. Erez Ruveni, after he got fired, sent in a 27-page whistleblower letter, and now he's got receipts, including emails and text messages, in which he said Drew Ensign lied, did not tell the truth to Judge Boasberg about the 200 other people not named Abrego Garcia who were sent in the middle of the night over his order to ground those planes that he was lied to by Drew Ensign. And Drew Ensign has not told the truth to Judge Xinis. It's all in that 27 pages. So they bring back, they resurrect Drew Ensign to start signing pleadings, but then they bring in the token, this is tokenism, Ernesto Molina. Where did he come from? Where did he come from? Now that's the guy they decide to put in the front of the case because Ernesto Molina is going to be doing what? Cross-examination of Abrego Garcia? Come on. We're all big boys and girls here, aren't we? Aren't these performative theatrics beneath the, I know they're not beneath the Department of Justice and Trump, but they're certainly beneath Judge Xinis. So she asked her own questions during the hearing. Again, guy's a sock puppet. Think Weekend at Bernie's, but, dressed up, put in a witness box. She said to him, well, where are you sending people these days? Well, I really can't tell you because he's not in ICE custody and that decision hasn't been made. Remember, he is supposed to be in that box to answer that very question. And he says, I can't do it until this is the chicken and the egg. He's not here yet, so we haven't decided. What are you talking about? Like they haven't decided where he's going? Well, if you were to decide, where are you sending people? What third countries are you sending people to other than the one he's from, which he can't go to, El Salvador, because there's an order of protection, an order of non-removal by a federal immigration judge. He can't go to El Salvador because he'll be tortured and killed. He already has a complaint that he was tortured and killed. So where do you send him these days? Mexico? He said, yeah, we send a lot to Mexico, sometimes to South Sudan also. So is it logical to think that you might be sending him to one of those two places? Again, she's not getting any information that she needs. Now, she's continued the hearing. So I'm going to do a follow-up hot take about this. We're going to know more today, but it's just mind-boggling, mind-effing blowing that the Trump administration continues to disrespect, offend, and disobey federal judges. And because they think they got their big brother standing behind them in the MAGA majority of the United States Supreme Court. but not about everything and not about all things. I mean, Ketanji Brown Jackson's doing a great job at writing her dissents and reminding us what our constitutional republic is supposed to be about and our separation of powers and our 3 co-equal branches of government when we get it back starting at the midterms and in 2028 when MAGA gets crushed. Because MAGA is going to get crushed. Let me just, I don't want people believe I'm blowing hopium here or popokium. I'm not. I've never seen a political party so overplay their hand the way we're watching Donald Trump. They're just trying to do everything on their shopping list in the shortest amount of time because Donald Trump's time horizon is really short for some obvious chronological reasons and also because of the midterms. He'll be lame duck by then. The House is going to go blue. Senate probably too, but definitely the House. And they know it. And so they're just cramming everything in. You know, this is like one of those game shows where they give you 30 seconds to catch all the dollars coming out of that air blower. It's like that. But when we get the balance of power back in our hands, a lot, not everything, a lot of what he's done can be undone. For every executive order, it can be undone. You know, for every, a depraved attempt to shrink the federal government and put it out of its misery and out of our lives, including the social safety net, we can reinstall that. Now, the Supreme Court precedent is not great. Until we get control of the Supreme Court and bring it back to a 5-4 or 5-4 the other way majority, we're kind of stuck with some of this precedent, but we can work around that. But I'm going to continue to follow this right here at the intersection of law, politics, and our democracy here on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button, wash, rinse, repeat, do it all over again. I'm on holiday, but this is a working holiday, as you can see. Till my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touches Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.